Hello, hello! My name is Callista, and welcome back to Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. In the last episode, Sakura was killed. We found her in a locked room, which is, a little bit confusing, but hopefully we can figure this out. For those of us still alive, and to honor Sakura's memory. Fine, I guess that's okay. But no matter what, Byakuya, you absolutely aren't allowed to touch her. Bitch, don't you fucking say that about Sakura. Don't. Naturally, who would want to touch a filthy dead body? Bitch.
Listen.
That's enough fighting. We need to focus on the investigation from here on out. Everyone keep this in mind. If we can't uncover Sakura's killer...
Listen to me.
All of us face execution. Finding out who killed Sakura. It's not a matter of hoping we can do it. If we want to survive, we have to do it. It's a kind of hopeless hope. We have no choice but to just do it. Investigate. I'd better check the Monokuma file before anything else. The victim was Sakura Ogami. The time of death is estimated to be around 12 noon. The body was discovered in the rec room on the 3rd floor of the school. Ooh. I mentioned this in the last episode. I had a theory. It was based on, minimal evidence. Again, heroes... Hold up, that's not saying that's the cause of death, though. It's saying she was struck on the head, but it's not saying that's how she died. I was gonna say Hero and this, they were kind of throwing my theory out the window. But again, that's nothing conclusive. I'm holding on to my theory. I haven't said what my theory is yet. As I said, I want to investigate. I want to look at evidence before I just start blurting stuff out, but... There is evidence of a strong blow to the victim's head. No other injuries were noted. However, it seems that at some point, the victim suffered from violent vomiting of blood. That could back up my theory. Monokuma file number 4 has been added to the Truth Bullet section of your handbook.
Hey.
I think the case this time might be a challenge. Why's that?
So...
The only way into the rec room is the door we just came through. And the door had been jammed shut with the chair from inside the rec room. Which means the killer would have had to escape somehow after barring the door. So, if the door was blocked from the inside and there was no way in or out till we broke the window, there's zero escape, right?
In other words...
Yes! I was talking about this in the last episode. In other words, this is a classic locked room murder. Locked room murder? I guess you might see this kind of thing a lot in mystery movies or books or whatever. But could it really happen in real life? And right before our very eyes like this?
Hey.
Are you curious to hear more? Let's try that again. Are you curious to hear more about what a locked room murder entails? Oh, Kyoko. Kyoko, here's the thing. I am very familiar with locked room murders, so I'm gonna be able to fact check you on this. So, speak carefully, girl. Speak carefully. Sure, if you don't mind.
That's fine.
When you break down this kind of murder mystery, there are 4 basic types. Okay. The first type is when the locked room is created after the actual crime is committed. This simply means that the killer commits his crime and then through some special method seals the room. This mainly involves some sort of trick involving the locking of the room. Basic approaches include using a string or simple mechanism. There are a number of variations. A very good example of that is, oh god, what's it called? It's something like The Murder at Bertram's Hotel. It's an Agatha Christie, Miss Marple story. I'll leave the title somewhere on screen, probably in the bottom right corner. Basically, someone gets shot in the street, and there's a sniper in one of the windows, and the police run up, the door is locked, so they break it down, and the gun is there, but the sniper isn't. And so they're kind of like, there were no other ways out of the room except for the door. Everyone was watching the street, so they didn't climb out the window and scale down the building or anything like that. So how did they do this? Basically, what had happened was that the deadbolt had kind of been pulled to on the inside, and it had been locked with a key on the outside. So that when everyone broke in, it seemed like it had been deadbolted, but it hadn't been locked. But in actual fact, I'm not explaining it very well, but that's kind of the method they used there. Okay. So for that, all we'd have to do is check the door to see if that's what it was. Right. That is the one thing. With those types of mysteries, the doors are the key.
Correct.
The second type is when the locked room is... So many tongue fumbles to start off this episode. My apologies. The second type is when the locked room already exists before the crime is committed. Oh?
In other words...
Basically, the killer uses a special contraption or tool from outside to target the victim inside. You push a switch and it fires a handgun. You shoot an arrow through a gap in the door, something like that.
However...
But, in this case, there doesn't seem to fit. There'd be a bullet hole or something. There are no guns or arrows in the school that we know about. I'm just gonna put that out there. There are no guns or arrows in the school, and the door doesn't have any gap that would allow it. Yeah, I think we can probably cross that one off the list.
It's true.
The third type is when the killer stays in the room until it's opened up. What do you mean by that?
In other words...
They stay hidden, and when the door is opened, they use the confusion to blend in with the group. They pretend they showed up along with everyone else, and that's that. That sounds like it could have been possible. Maybe. No. I disagree with that. Because there's really nowhere to hide. I know I can't look around the room very much, but there is a locker in this room. However, I remember when we looked through the window, it was wide open. You're not gonna hide in an open locker. That would be stupid. The only real place that someone could have hidden is on the left wall, where you can see the neon sign that says Hopeful Peak, I think. They could have, been stood against that. When Kyoko and Makoto ran in, that would have given them opportunity to slip out. However, Hina stayed in the doorway. Hina stayed in the door frame. So either she would have noticed, or by the time she went off, Makoto was no longer staring at the body. And they would have turned and been like, oh shit, what are you doing here? So that... It would be possible theoretically, however, I don't think that's what happened.
It's true.
And the fourth and final type is when it wasn't actually a locked room at all. Not a locked room?
In other words...
By that I mean, there is actually an alternate escape route somewhere within the room. You see this a lot in novels and things, but in reality it's generally not possible. Then you think we can cross that one off too?
Indeed.
I believe so, yes. So, when it comes to locked room mysteries, those are the basics. Oh, Kyoko. Kyoko. I hate to disagree with you, my dear. I absolutely hate it. Can't you hear how much I hate doing this in the tone of my voice? But Kyoko, I have to inform you, you are incorrect, my dear. You missed off one very good, very important example of a locked room mystery. I would argue the most important locked room mystery. That is when the victim locks the door. I think Sakura pushed the chair against the door. That is the only thing that makes sense. The killer couldn't have pushed the door up against the chair because they would have been stuck in. They couldn't have tied a string around, the leg of the door. My brain today. I'm so sorry. They couldn't have tied some string around the leg of the chair, put the string under the door, closed the door, and then pulled the string, because there's a pretty good chance the chair would have just fallen over. There'd be no guarantee that it would go under the doorknob. No. To leverage a chair like that, you would have to be on the same side. There is no escape route. There is no place for them to hide. That leaves one solution. Sakura locked the door herself. I'm also going to say this as a clue to my theory. When is a murder not a murder? So when it comes to locked room mysteries, those are the basics. No, they're not. So there are 4 possibilities. 5. Then, Kyoko, which of those 4 choices seems the most likely in this case? None of them.
It's true.
That's a good question. Answering that should be our primary focus during this trial. But right now, I can't really say. I see. The way the killer set up the locked room. Until I figure that out, the truth behind Sakura's death will stay hidden. It's definitely a tough mystery. I need to concentrate and investigate as much as I can. For Sakura, if nothing else. Okay, first I want to look at you. I really hope I want to see that picture again. Sakura drew her last breath, slumped forward in this chair. There's obvious evidence of the blow to the head Sakura suffered. Normally, I wouldn't have any problem believing that's what killed her. But according to the Monokuma file, she had also vomited blood. Her mouth is different. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say my theory. When is a murder not a murder? When it's a suicide. In the first picture we saw, Sakura was smiling. She had this big old smile on her face, and that is the smile of someone who is like, fuck you, bear. You want me to kill someone? I'm gonna kill myself. Up yours. And how she reacted after Hina was injured. She was like, I'm gonna put an end to this. Don't punish her, punish me. I think Sakura probably felt responsible for Hina getting stabbed. That was my theory, that she blocked the door so that no one would be able to save her, and then she like drank poison or something, or she ingested something toxic that caused the blood vomiting. And she died on a smile. She died with a smile on her face as she just, like, her last thoughts were of her flipping off Monokuma. Like, that was my theory, but here we can see her mouth and she's no longer smiling. I don't know. And Hiro has been acting... He's been acting weird. Like, he's skittish, yes, but the things he's saying, it's not as obvious as with Celeste in the last case when she was like, oh no, we're all going to die. We're going to die. What is life? Da, 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 da. Like, that was very un-Celeste. It's not as overt as that. But he seemed to be panicked that he wasn't going to be allowed into the crime scene. And Hiro has never shown any interest in that. And I can see a trace of blood on her lips for sure. So, what would have caused her to vomit blood? It's a shame we can't get any toxicology done. That'd be useful. The Monokuma file specifically said she hadn't suffered any other injuries. And again, it didn't say that the blow to the head was the cause of death. I think she took her own life. Status of Sakura's body has been added to the Truthful section of your handbook. Maybe her getting hit on the head somehow caused her to start vomiting blood? Here's the thing, I don't know how head injuries can affect the human body. And I know about blood splatter and all of that, but here's the thing, if you were to get hit on the head, I would expect blood to start coming out of the ears. When I say I've seen things like that, I mean in films. I'm not talking about real life. You don't need to be concerned. I'm talking about, like, in films, whenever someone hits their head and, like, you're like, oh no, that's really bad, but they don't start bleeding from the head. They tend to start bleeding from the ears. I don't think... Especially vomiting blood, to me, that says that maybe the stomach lining started to dissolve or something like that. I don't know. Maybe her getting hit on the head somehow caused her to start vomiting blood? Byakuya's just there like, no, I've hit many people over the head and none of them have done that. Not a chance. Byakuya?
That's fine.
However, your eyes have landed on a most interesting location. She's not a piece of property, dickhead. Interesting?
Naturally.
Yes, most interesting. Don't you agree? I agree that you're a bitch. No, I don't think I'd call it interesting. But it does make me wonder. The reason Sakura vomited blood absolutely has to be connected to why she died. Poison. I'm telling you, poison. There are a bunch of poisons all neatly labelled. You said that. I don't know why I'm just doing that with my mouse. I'm sorry. They said there was a shit ton of stuff in the chem lab. Okay. I'm gonna. Oh, hello. And that's the drink. Sakura liked. Hang on. Talk to the people. Look at the room. Then we'll figure out where I'm going from there. Okay.
What?
What do you want? You're bothering me. Go away. Fuck you. He's not even trying to hide how much he despises me. I'd better go before he crushes my soul completely.
However...
But for Sakura to have been killed... Yeah, she's not the type who would go down without a fight. And no one is injured. as far as we've seen everyone in the school, no one is bruised, no one's wandering around with a leg missing. The only one who could take out the ogre is the ogre.
It's true.
And she certainly didn't, I would say. She was the ultimate martial artist, strong in body, mind, and spirit. So how was the killer able to get the upper hand on her? I wonder, did someone get the upper hand? Kyoko's figuring it out. Kyoko's figuring it out. They must have taken her by surprise, right?
Certainly.
Certainly. They would have needed to if they expected to stand any chance against her.
What the heck?
We already know who did it!
I won't forgive you.
Byakuya, Toko, or Hiro. It had to be one of them. They couldn't stand the sight of her. You agree with me, don't you, Makoto? Well, I don't want to say anything for sure without finding out more. Then let me help you find out more. You see, Sakura asked all three of them to meet with her. You know where? Right here in the rec room. Oh. I wonder, I'm sticking with my theory that I think Sakura committed suicide. Like, the game has outright told me that her vomiting blood has to be connected to her death, and I'm like, we have access to poison. She was smiling. I know I didn't imagine that. I know I didn't imagine that she was smiling in the first shot we got of her. And I don't think any of the other students are, like, she has no injuries. She has no injuries. The only way she could have died is by poison. And again, if you've been poisoned, you take the sip, you're like, oh shit, I'm dying. Why would you suddenly smile? You would only smile if you were like, fuck you, Monokuma. Hina's gonna be safe now. She won't get stabbed again. Like, that's the only reason you would smile. I wonder if Hiro left something in the rec room. I wonder if they came to meet with her. I don't know what happened. They left. And then afterwards he was like, oh shit, I left something. So that's why he was so desperate to get into the room. He wants to remove evidence that he was here. I don't know. What? After I went to the nurse's office this morning, Sakura and I both left together, right? Well, eventually she went off on her own. But when I saw her again after that, she told me. She said she'd left a note for each of them. She asked them to meet her in the rec room by noon. By noon? The Monokuma file said she died right around then. I'm telling you the truth, I heard it from Sakura herself. And I tried to stop her. But she wouldn't listen. She said not to worry, that she just wanted to talk to them. And this is what happened. Oh, sweetheart. If I'd stopped her, by force even, this never would have happened. Hina. It's impossible not to have regrets, I know. Aoi's account has been added to the Truth Bullet section of your handbook. But the fact that she had asked those three to meet with her, and she asked them to come to the rec room at noon, the same time and place she ended up dying. Makoto, you're using the wrong word there. you're using the wrong word. She didn't ask them to come to the rec room at noon. She asked them to come to the rec room by noon. I think she was planning on taking her life at noon, so she was like, come before then, because if you come after, I'ma be dead. It might be good to confirm what I just heard with the three of them directly. Well, bitch.
What?
What do you want? You're bothering me. There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Make it quick. Is it true that Sakura asked you to meet her in the rec room? So you found out. Interesting. Is your hearing really that bad? Because I was literally just talking to Hina and she's like a couple of feet away from you, dude. Then it's true? I did receive a note to that effect, yes. And he's not going to have gone. The other two, Hiro I could see going. Toko, I'm like, depending on who she was. Bianca, he's not going to have fucking gone. He's going to have thought that's a trap. But what fool would do what it said and risk being killed by that monster? She wasn't a fucking monster. She was braver than you. So you didn't go see her? Of course not. I ripped the note to shreds and threw it away. I haven't seen Sakura today at all. Byakuya said he didn't go see her. Is that the truth? I'm inclined to believe him. Well, until I can prove otherwise, I have no choice but to accept it as fact.
Come on.
If you're all finished, please remove yourself from my sight. Remove your sight from my presence. Thank you. Okay, thanks. Don't thank him. Byakuya's account has been added to the Truth Bullet section of your handbook. Okay, now then. Evidence. Evidence. Hello? Das evidence. Huh? The locker's open. And they're on the inside. Okay. I don't know what the white substance is. It could be cocaine. It could be Hiro's cocaine! This is where he got it from! Oh! Okay. Now I'm in a giggly mood. Whoops. Huh? The locker's open. And they're on the inside. It's a handprint? And there's one on the actual inside of the locker. It's not just on the door, it's like on the back.
Why?
What's a handprint doing here? Well, clearly there was someone inside. It looks like someone touched the inside of the locker and it left a handprint in all of the dust. Makoto, that's not dust, that's cocaine.
It's true.
And it looks quite fresh too. Are you talking about the handprints, the coke? I'd say someone was hiding here in the locker and they left behind a little something extra. So then, maybe the killer hidden here until the locked room was opened, don't you think? Well, one, it was open when we were looking through the window. I noticed that. Two, how would they join the group? Kyoko and Makoto never left the room. We would have noticed someone opening the locker, walking past us to the door, and then being like, oh my god, what happened here? Makoto, think it through. And during all the confusion, they popped out and joined the rest of the group.
Wrong.
Unfortunately, that's not a possibility. Huh? Why not?
Hey.
Think back. Before we opened the door, we looked inside the room, right? Oh yeah! And the locker was already open at that point.
Indeed.
So there's no way someone could have hidden in there until after we opened the door. Yeah, so then... what does this handprint mean? Locker handprint has been added to the truth bullet section of your handbook. Ooh, I don't know. I do not know. There are shards of glass scattered around the chair Sakura was sitting on. It's not the glass from the window. One, it's way too far away, and two, it's red. It's one of the things! The doodads, the bottle doodads on the fucking cabinet. The glass is all red, and these are the top and bottom sections of a bottle. Right, there goes my timer. Let me finish up with this clue. So this must have originally been a bottle. Presumably this is what smacked Sakura over the head. Glass shards on the floor have been added to the truth bullet section of your handbook. Huh? There's something else on the ground near the glass. Yeah, it's one of the chess pieces. It's a figure. It fits in the palm of my hand. It's a Monokuma figure. Figure on the floor has been added to the truth bullet section of your handbook. Okie doke. I am going to bring this episode to a close right here in the next one. More investigating, more looking at the crime scene. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Kallista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.